Alette marches quietly alongside the caravan, a little distant since leaving the village. Once you stop for a rest, Oddleaf approaches you both. Alette, I have something for you. Oddleaf has gathered up the long banner from the caravan and smiles warmly as she passes it to Alette. What's this about? I was hoping you'd sew up the banner with everything that has happened since we left Saga. Come find me another time, Rook, and we'll talk. Before you can comment, she departs. Dad, are you the chieftain now? Guess I'll have to find out later. Oh, then that means... You're both quiet for a moment when Alette unfurls the banner. Oddleaf has been teaching me how to sew. She speaks pretty highly of you. Can we read the part about Mom? You nod. On the banner has been sewn the story of the families who have lived in Skager throughout the years, just as is done on every banner in every town. I wish she were here, but I'm kind of glad she isn't. The section of banner about your family is short, but Alette has been sewing in colorful designs. Why do you say that? So she doesn't have to deal with all of this. Dredge, leaving home, and... Why do you have to kill those men in the village? I mean, if it's okay to ask. I had to make a hard choice. Because the Dredge are terrifying. Every time we have to fight them, I just want to run, but I don't want to kill a person, please. Are you mad at me? You might have to someday. I guess I would do it if I really had to, but do we have to? I know what you mean. Yeah, I know. Dad, I think you're doing a good job. She hugs you. She spends the rest of your time together sewing new verses into the banner. For better or worse, the story of your Skager is in your burden now. Alright. Well, looks like she wants to talk, but first, looks like our boy got a level. Ivor. I gotta remember the names, man. Ivor. Promote. Build higher status. Ooh, improves your ability automatically. Okay. 10 renown. Yep, absolutely. 2 points. I want him to be able to use 2 in a round. 2, whatever these things are. Willpower. What are they? Yeah, oh, it is willpower. I was wrong. I think he'd be pretty decent at shield breaking, too. Because his strength is nice, for sure. I mean, especially when he just does the smackdown. But having him as kind of our dedicated shield breaker seems not a bad idea. I don't think anybody else leveled up. Heh. Mogan got him a little love bump there. 1 strength in battle. Rest in camp to heal. I'll probably do that. Because we have enough supplies, I think. Training, heroes. I mean, I probably should do some of the training just to kind of get used to it in battle, but meh. Okay, so are they healed up completely now, or? Nice. Okay, good, because I want everybody at full when we go. 20% dodge strength attacks. Give it to him, because he's the one in the fray a lot, so. Even though these guys are going to have to be in there too, which means they're probably going to get hit. Well, actually, the item is level 3, so they can't wield it yet, so it doesn't really matter. He's the only one who can. That's right. I remember now, when I bought it, it was level 3, and nobody could use it at the time. Let's go talk to Oddleaf. Oddlife? How are you doing, Odd? I'm all right. Oh, but I realized after I handed you the banner, I probably gave the wrong impression. My husband's still in and out of consciousness. It doesn't look good. It's harder than I thought it would be, just not knowing. People tell me I'm a strong woman. It's funny, my father named me Oddlife before I was even born. He wanted a boy so badly. Strong woman. What does that even mean? People look up to you. Don't take this wrong, but I don't want to be known for handling my feelings. If I feel nothing about my husband dying, people think I'm strong. If I cry because my insides feel like they're on fire, I'm weak. Why does that feel so backwards? Because it's not. I'm sorry, Rook. It's been hard. You're not sure what to say. In the many years you've known the chieftain's wife, this is probably the most you've ever talked. You asked me to come find you. Yes, it's about the banner. I thought about it a long time. He asked me to give it to you, you know, if something happened. Why me? He always depended on you, Rook. It should be mine. I could carry it, but I thought about why he named you. I get it. They won't follow a woman. Families would leave. Our banner would be divided. I would vouch for you. Come on, Rook. This isn't the time for pretend. It's not just about our small town. What happens the first time we need something from another clan? How will that go? And the first time someone thinks they can take advantage of us? I think this is what has to happen. Maybe this is what it means to be a strong woman. She looks sideways, eventually giving over a timid smile. I'm not sure if that's the dumbest thing I've heard or the sweetest. Listen, I know I dragged this out. The truth is my husband and I could never have a child. I don't want our banner to end here. It'll be safe with you and Alette. I know you're going to take care of her. She puts her hand on your shoulders as she heads back to camp. Alright. Don't anywhere to shop, that's fine. Alright, so I guess we can leave. March. The march marches on, I guess. Got enough supplies for another 10 days. At a small split in the trail, a few fighters stop to speak with you, each carrying a single pack. We recognize this place, one man says. Spent several years here with some kin. If they're still around, we have to warn them off what's coming. With luck, we'll find you again in less than a week. Much as I hate to send them off, we seem to be okay with supplies, so send them off with extra supplies. If that's all you're taking, you may never make it, you say. Grabbing a few items from a supply wagon, you strap the additional provisions to their backs. Search for family instead of food, you say with a smile. The men clasp wrists with you before departing. See, I'm an honorable man. Care about my clansmen. This is my clan now. Of course, he's in and out, but now he's gone. He's a goner. Complaints of Raff and Vaster's excessive drinking have resurfaced. This time, the man stumbled over some tent ropes, pulled the snag canvas through a campfire, nearly setting a supply wagon aflame. Clansmen put out the fire on both the wagon and Raff van Vaster's leg before leading him to you. Punish him physically. You're considering your options when Oddleaf appears out of nowhere and doubles him over with a gut shot. Endanger everyone again and you'll get more than a cracked rib, she shouts, leaving him in a huff. The others go back to their business, satisfied with the outcome. No, that's not fair. She punched him. I wanted to punch him. Dredge! Shouts a man from the back of the caravan. It's Ravastvanster, the unabashed drunk, staggering towards you, looking not entirely sober. He screams again, pointing to trees in the distance. Fear races through the caravan as fighters pull their weapons. Scouts return with no sightings, and furious men surround Raff and Vastra. Ready yourself against Dredge, just in case. There'll be time for that later, you tell the men. For now, we take no chances. A full day of uneasy rest passes with no sign of Dredge. The caravan is annoyed by the scare and the delay. Eventually, Ravaster bursts into laughter, and you're sure there was never any Dredge. Not long after Ravenvaster goes missing, nobody searches for him or seems to mind. Damn. I knew I should have sent him off. Should have hung him up. Made an example of him.
Once a strong, thriving city, the walls of Frostvellir now just keep the howling winds at bay. With luck, they'll hold out against Dredge as well.
That's a big-ass banner. Seems like eventually it'd be too big and it starts pulling the wagon. Ah, there's our little giant friend. You jostle through fallow crowds of sunken faces who appear as though they've been freezing in front of Frostvellir for days. The gates are closed. You come to a stop at the bottom of the hill. This is not looking good. Why are there so many people in the fields? We can't stay outside in the open like this. Oddly finds you amongst the many refugees. Rook, I just talked to some of the women here. Nobody's being let into the city. Why? It's overrun with Varl from Bargren, Greyhorn, people from Beatra, all the nearby villages. The Dredge are everywhere. And the chieftain of Frostveller has locked himself in his great hall. That's why they closed the gates. When the Dredge comes, the hills will turn red. We have to get in there. I want to know more about what's going on in there. I see a lot of people gathered around the rest houses and the gates. We could find out what they know. How do we get in anyways? They closed the gate. I can get the gate open. Let's see if there's any other way before we start breaking down gates. I wasn't going to break it. Just push really hard. Nah, they'd probably be okay with that. Breaking the gate seems like a bad idea in general. For multiple reasons. So, does resting improve morale? I forget. I don't think anybody leveled because we haven't got any fights. So, yeah, I guess that would be... throw her in there at the end. I have a promise. I have a reason for setting it up like that. All right. Let's choose... oh, we do have a market. What do we have? A tortoise band. An early king of men was known to have a ring that he would turn compulsively... oh, +2 armor on rest. Obsidian powder. The fragment of shattered dredge obsidian, carefully ground to a powder, will sometimes explode when applied to a weapon. Knockback on strength attacks of 4. Nice. Padded undercoat. Heavy when soaked with blood and sweat, but a little bit of padding can be the difference between life and death. +1 armor. Obsidian ring. A ring that seems to absorb the light around it, and said to have been forged by dredge stone singers. +2 strength. That seems like that would be really good for our archers. I'm going to grab the padded undercoat, because a little bit of armor never hurts. 2 armor on rest. I don't really do a lot of resting. At least so far. I'm probably going to need to. I like this obsidian ring. I'm going to go ahead and buy it. I'm going to get back to 10 days worth of... let's go back to 12. Oh, I guess that's all they have. Alright, that's fine. Because I think resting helps morale. You spend a whole day at the rest house. Everyone gives you the same story. The chieftain just shut himself in his great hall and closed the gates. There are a lot of wounded people here, says Alette. We could help them. The rest house is overflowing with refugees, the sick and wounded, and noise. Let's tend to the wounded, I guess. Alette and Oddlife spend the day, along with others in your caravan, treating wounds, most of which came from the archers at the gates. I overheard from one woman that the city has been sending carts with food around, Oddlife tells you. Could be a way in, Ivar replies. Next time they send a cart, we bring it back in. Oddlife protests. Aside from leading to a fight, it would probably mean no more food for the refugees. Let's leave the food cart alone for now. I don't want to get involved if others are going to suffer for it, you say. You return to what you were doing. The rest house is overflowing with refugees, the sick and the wounded, and noise. Rest for a day. You take the opportunity to rest. The caravan eats, talks with others, and feels a little better in general. Everyone but Ivar, who's anxious about being out in the open. Late in the day, you notice a crowd forming around the mound shouting about something. Let's investigate. The commotion is turning into an angry mob who are becoming ever more furious about being kept out of the city. You overhear them talking about attacking the archers on the walls and breaking through the gates. Hogan and Mogan join in and fan the rising flames. I won't let my family die in a field like dogs, shouts Hogan. He turns to you. Do this thing, Rook. We need you again. I asked them not to go. Better we beg you not to stay, says Hogan. We'll not wait out here another day. Despite your protests, they join the growing mob heading towards the gate. Oh, for God's sakes. Archers on the city walls don't hesitate to fling arrows at them, and many fall immediately, the rest powerless to do anything to the gates. Soon, the disillusioned mob has been scattered, with nothing to show for it but dead bodies, amongst which you spot 2 red tunics filled with arrows. You curse and turn away. Those idiots. The rest house is overflowing. What a pain in the ass. You put the clamors of the rest house behind you. I still think we should be getting into that city, says Ivor, spying the gates on the hill. Did those morons seriously die? Oh, for Christ's sake. Really? That's some bullshit. We'll give her the tunic. Wait. What does this one do? Armor, strength, and willpower. We'll give it to her. Yeah. Damn it, that was a pain in the ass. Idiots. Alright, so morale's back to normal. Let's go to the gate. You approach the gate, where hundreds of people have gathered. In the trodden, bloody space in front of the doors, several pincushion bodies lie unclaimed, as though they simply belong there. Archers up on the wall make it clear that nobody will be getting in. Men and women below it intermittently call for mercy and reason when they're not flinging stones and curses. Find out more from the crowd. You spend an hour talking to different people who all have the same story. A couple days ago, the chieftain shut them in. They get huge stores of supplies in there. They're just hoarding them. Shout at the guards. We're from Skolgar. Open the gates, you shout to the archers, not expecting much. You get about as much as you expected. Archers up on the wall make it clear that... Oh, blah, blah, blah. Leave the gates to try something else. You leave the crowds and head back down the hill. There's a lot of people gathered around the rest houses. Maybe we can find help there, or at least make ourselves useful. Well, I guess I don't have much choice than other than try to push the gates open now. Ivor, did you really expect to push these gates open? I'm willing to try, grunts Ivor, despite sizing up doors that look like they could hold back an army. And when men start shooting arrows and pouring out to stop you, then you kill them, he says. You're not sure this is the most sound plan. We're not doing this. This is a terrible idea. We don't even know how many are in there. Ivor folds his arms. He seems almost relieved that he didn't have to live up to his earlier boast. Archers upon the wall make it clear. No, I've already done that, and it doesn't help at all. There's really not jack shit we can do here, I guess. Other than... I was hoping like something would pop up. I'm going to guess, prediction this will do the same thing. Yep. So I guess it's back to the rest hall then. So is it making me rest every time I click it? Yes, it is. I guess that. After a long day of argument, you finally agree to digging in with the other refugees if you have to. Are you sure there's no other option, says Ivor. Sooner or later the dredge will come, probably sooner. Let's make sure we haven't missed anything. You know my thoughts already. We need to get in the city somehow. Oh, god damn it. I hate how pushing it makes you rest for a day. Like, I just want to go back and do the thing. Like, that's ridiculous. All we can do is be ready. You settle in, you're not sure how long, blah, blah, blah.